Hello everybody, I'm Raphael Perry and I find myself once again playing Steve Jackson's Sorcery. Now before I continue, slight apology, my recording sessions have been frequently interrupted this week. This is something like the third time I've been able to record in the last 5 or 6 days. To a point where I've even had to start looking at some dross on the backlog that wasn't going to get released for a while, like the old Kingmaker episodes that I need to upload at some point, you know. But here we are. It's a new dawn, it's a new day. You get to your feet, cloak wet with dew, you march forwards. Now, I could traipse all the way back up here. Not ideal. However, there is a hut here. A building, a house. And house means people. And people means food. This looks like a way to get across here, though, into the next region. Now, this would be the water serpent and the time serpent. I've already dealt with the sun and... Sorry, the moon serpent and the fire serpent. Here I see a bunch of huts. This looks like a ruin. It looks like if I shine a beacon on it, it will become some past dwelling place where I may be able to find sustenance. However, if I do cross over if I do go all the way back up here and cross over mountains, you know, utilize this beacon, shine it down here, obviously, or up there to make the bridge. But yeah, so going across here, something to do later on. For now, ooh, hello. Oh, there's a beacon right there. So I can walk into the town, explore the ruins, find all the stuff, then shine the beacon back into the past. So yeah, I want to go down here. Building. Tower. This beacon could shine this way, so that this one can shine this way. So I could use this one to shine down this way, then point this one up. So basically it's like two beacons can cover the same place, so that I can really do that one if I want to. But I think I should go see what it's like in the present first. So I'm going to meander along this way. Because there still are a number of serpents to find. I need to find the water serpent. No. The air serpent. The earth serpent, which draws its strength from the earth and isn't going to want to be up in the air or hanging off something. And, water. There's going to be a sun serpent as well somewhere because of the moon serpent. And my sun gem has been stolen. You continue what might be a path and might be an old river through the trees of the forest. The air stirs a little, still cold but fresh. You have reached the edge of the forest. Through the trees you can see the level steps extending into the baking sunshine. Time to choose a direction. Well, do I have any clues about the serpents I have not found yet? Nothing can defeat the time serpent. There's a... something to do with... There is, but the snatcats are invisible when they close their eyes. The blood candle. In the dark chamber of night, do not light your way with the blood candle. I presume that's something to do with the tunnels to the north that I have not investigated. The air serpent leaves its body as a gas. Its body is vulnerable. Okay. So it seeps out of like gas from the body, leaving the body behind. That's bizarre. But if I see gas, visible gas, that is, I want to be aware of that. The water serpent is vulnerable to oil because oil and water don't mix. And earth stays on the earth. Froth is the earth serpent. Oh! You know what I've done, don't you? The villagers in Kadiyama to the north were mentioning froth quite a lot, so she might be in these tunnels that they are forbidden to enter. That's a pain in the backside. Maybe I should go back there now and try and find out. But no, I'd like to keep exploring this area for now. You head out across the steps. The moaning winds finger at your pack and sword. In front of you stretches another plain, more rock than dust this time, and built of layers and layers of stone, stacked like scattered papers. These are the Clatterback Steps, said to be the home of strange half-human, half-simian creatures. As you walk, you see a strange sight. A village of listing huts in the middle of open space with no walls or defences at all. Ugly villagers lope from tent to tent, dressed in animal skins. Well, I have a spell that lets me speak to animals. Let's take a look. The men and women are strong and lanky, dressed in animal skins. By the gate 2 creatures stand with hefty wooden clubs. Clattermen. I will absolutely cast a spell. It's not... Law is the... It's yap, isn't it? Yap, yap, yap. That's Yaz. I don't want Yaz, I want Yap. I don't need a giant. Don't need to make a strong smell. I could. I'm not big. Okay, I don't need that either. No. A path leads into the village, or you could skirt past. I should absolutely enter the village. Casting a spell... Now that I'm closer, it would make more sense to cast a spell. Doing it at that distance doesn't make a lot of sense. You approach the guards. They look at you with expressions you cannot read. Now, can I cast Yap? Please. Or... Oh, Yap or Tell. Yeah, some bugger nicked my skullcap, so I don't think I can... Oh, yeah, absolutely. Sure. You wind the constellations into alignment around you, pulling up the cloth skullcap as you do so. The thoughts of the first Clatterman filters into your mind, but they are as barren and empty as the steppes. It seems he has been standing out here for so many days he cannot remember what he is supposed to be doing. In that case, saying hello, probably a bad idea. I'll just walk straight past. You make to stride past, but the Clattermen cross their clubs. One pushes you back. The other Clatterman holds up 2 fingers. I'm going to go out on a limb here and pretend I think they mean 2 coins. You open your pack to consider what these guards might want. I'll give them 2 gold pieces, which they probably won't want. You hand over 2 gold pieces. The Clatterman nearest you seems to love the shininess and takes the coins. The other stands aside to let you pass. They do not speak. Well then. You step into the centre of the village. Fire pit, large hut. I'll go first to the fire pit. You head over to the fire pit, but it is unlit during the day and there is no one here. You know what? I might as well eat. My last food. You eat the berries, feeling much better for it. You look around the village once more. Now I'll go to that large hut. One hut here is much larger than the others. Above its door is a sign depicting a picture of an awl and a hammer. Oh, some kind of craftsmanship takes place here. It is amazing anyone here can draw, let alone perform crafts. From inside you hear the sound of hammering. I'll look through the window. Peering in through the window, you see a Clatterman working away at a bench. He moves with unusual delicacy for these creatures. He's not doing it for these creatures. He moves with unusual delicacy for these creatures, his long, thin fingers carefully adjusting the positioning of whatever it is he's working on. You can't help noticing he has an unusually large skull. Well, I shall enter. The Clatterman looks up as you enter. He puts down the tiny hammer and pincers he has been using to repair a piece of fine jewellery and tilts his head to regard you. Oh, greetings. You greet him with a nod. He seems to understand this and nods in reply. I'll examine his workbench. You step forward and look over his workbench, and he gestures with an open palm to let you look. The Clatterman has a variety of fine tools, pincers, awls, spikes for scratching and etching, even a vice. He is clearly a master craftsman despite his species. When you have finished, he steps forward to you, gesturing for your pack. Well, I'll show him my pack. If he wants something, he'd better have something good to give me in return. Oh, yes! You hold out your pack to him. He begins to rummage through, investigating everything with his long, supple hands, and occasionally... Yes, he's got big lumps of ham on the end of his arms. They've got fingers on, they're called hands. And occasionally pausing to scratch his bulging skull as though his brain is itching at the sight of your gear. Then, with triumph, he pulls out the studded collar taken from the wolf-hound rug in the elven village of the Shamutanti Hills. Is he stealing from you? No, he probably wants to trade. I'll wait and see what he does. You wait and watch to see what he will do next. He puts the studded collar down on his bench, picks up one of his hammers, and... You know what? It's probably not the biggest hammer. Also, I've never got any decent use out of this. I'm not going to stop him. I'll wait and see what he does. He's a master craftsman. He's not just going to smash it. You keep watching as he begins very carefully to work on the studded collar. Oh, is he going to turn it into like a bracelet or something? Working on the collar to extract its gems, then string them together. After about an hour's work, he straightens up from the bench and holds something out to you. It is a jewel-studded medallion. I need this for a spell. Don't I? Aha! It's not the sun jewel, which was stolen from me. Jewel-studded medallion. Zen. Allow the caster to float in the air. Oh, perfect. Perfect for fighting the earth serpent. Do I pay him? You know, I think I will. I thought I was going to pay him like 1 or 2 coins. Okay. You open your purse to pay the craftsman, and he nods deeply. He takes 5 gold pieces from you and hands you the medallion. He nods to you and returns to his work. Okay. I'm not sure that was an entirely fair exchange there, but I'll watch him work. It seems like he is carving jewellery from coloured stones. They don't seem to be precious or even beautiful, but the weird twisting shapes he is carving are complex and intricate and remarkably precise. I will take a piece. He might not like this. You reach out to take one of the pieces, a bejewelled item of clear value, but he responds much more quickly than you expect, snatching up a strange 2-handled contraption. He opens the handle, and the device expands into a series of crossbars. At the far end is a blade which skewers you through the shoulder, pinning you to the bloody hell. He tilts his head the other way, and, to make his point, wiggles the contraption, making your shoulder bleed. Language is an issue. This is obviously the worst. Cast a spell, there's got to be a good spell. You try to spread your arms to collect the starlight for the spell, but the Clatterman simply twists the contraption. You howl in pain and cease your attempted enchantment. Release me! You demand. The Clatterman listens with interest, but does not retract the extended arm. I'll give him something. You have one thing in your hand. The item you took from the craftsman. You hurl it at him. He dodges, but in that moment the contraption goes slack and you're able to push it free and stagger clear. Oh, I'm getting out of here! Oh shit, Korga's not going to like that, is he? Yeah, that's going to be bad. That was a bad thing. You know what? I should go back and completely, yeah. Completely redo that. I didn't think it was stealing. I thought it was just picking up the thing to have a look at it, then put it back. Ah, dear. Oof. Show him stuff. Wait. Wait. Pay, because it's the fair thing to do, even if he does rip me off. Watch him work. And leave him be. This is clearly some kind of Clatterman freak. You leave him to his work. Well then, it's time to be on my way and head out of the village. The village has no walls. You slip between two huts and back out onto the plains. Where's store south? There's something over here. I want to see it. You march onwards, ascending and descending as the ground breaks and changes level. It is very warm now. You begin to sweat under your cloak. A small patch of flowers grows here, just by a small rock. I'll look at the flowers. Small black blooms. Oh. I'll smell as long as it's just like a small sniff. You smell the flowers. They emit a rich, thick smell that makes you somewhat giddy. Still, you feel somewhat better for it. Oh, I got some health back. Yeah, but this is bad. This is, smell the flowers again feels like a trap. I shall not do so. You continue to walk to the west. You walk on, climbing slightly across the dusty steps. The sun has reached its highest point now. Out of the shade, the air is baking hot. In the middle of the steps, you come across a strange sight. A wooden pole as high as a tree with nothing around it. It has no knots, handles, or holds of any kind. Nothing except a level platform right at the top. Like a crow's nest. Clumps of yellow moss you saw before grow around the base of the pole. You gather up a handful of moss. I'll chew it a little. You munch on the moss and feel much better. Great! I'll look around. You stop and look around, but can't make out much across the contours of the plain. You might be able to see more from the top of the pole, of course. From somewhere nearby you hear singing. I will not bang on the pole to attract attention or in case there's someone inside it. I'll listen. You concentrate and listen. There is definitely a voice singing somewhere close at hand, but there is no one anywhere in sight. The pole is set into a slight rise in the ground, and you can see in all directions. An invisible creature, perhaps, or on the platform on top of the pole. I'll call out. Who's there? You demand, turning on the spot as you speak. Show yourself. A moment later, a shaggy face appears over the edge of the platform overhead. Who's that? It demands crabbily. Can't you hear I was doing this singing? Oh, I'm terribly sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you. The man shrugs. For what? Nice to have some company, even if it does get in the way. He scratches his beard. A second or so later, a few lice shell husks rain down on you. What are you doing up there? We're singing, he answers. I sees you're dumb as well as deaf. Deaf and dumb, there's a pair. To demonstrate this, he raises both hands and waves them. How did you get up there? You demand. Does it matter? He replies. Come up and join me, why don't you? With that, he leans back out of sight. Dust funnels across the empty plain. I don't want to cast a spell. Actually, I can float and levitate now, right? Without having to climb the pole and risking any kind of... Yeah. You cast the enchantment and the medallion begins to glow as you rise gently up into the air. You're now floating off the ground. I'll float to the top of the pillar. Yeah, you float up to the top of the pillar. Top of the pole! The man shuffles aside to allow you to bob down. He gestures around with the platform. How does he gesture with the platform? Welcome to my little eyrie. I have water to offer? I have water? Flask of oil, 6 levels. I don't see the water. Oh, potion. The mystery potion. Oh, God, that could be... Right. A gourd of water. Yeah, okay. He's been up here a long time. Lots of singing. I'll offer him some water. You take out your water gourd and hold it out towards the priest. You must be thirsty. He nods, clearly touched by your thoughtfulness. Then he reaches out for the gourd, closes his eyes, and murmurs a few words. Having said them, he hands the gourd back. I have blessed it, he declares. For you I do not drink. There is moisture enough in the air. Why are you on this pole? You ask. High from the world I can see diagonally downwards onto the world, he replies. I can see through the layers of curse that affect this land. The whole place has unravelled like a poorly woven shoe. He demonstrates with his hands, balling them one over the other. After a moment he says more simply, From up here I can see. He pauses to scratch under his loincloth. So, he asks, do you like it up here? Oh, is this a trap? If I say yes, he'll be like, oh, thank you, fine, I can leave and then I'm stuck up here. You know what, yeah, the view is superb, it's remarkable. He shrugs. I do not see how a view can be superb. It is only looking after all. As he speaks, you feel a weight gather about your shoulders. As you settle down onto the platform, the spell has worn off. Oh, so it's not the air serpent coming to kill me then. Right, okay, good. Do you know of the 7 serpents? You demand. He nods. I see much from up here. I know of the winged beasts and their quest to devour you. Grind your bones to dust, then spit that dust into the cup of the king of Analand. Where can I find the serpents? I might have a limited amount of questions here. They are looking for you, Analander. Each is waiting for you. Some are hiding, some are not. One waits for you in the very depths of Lake Ilklala. He means to pick you off when you're at your weakest. So he's obviously underwater. It's the water serpent, yes. How can I find him? He shakes his head. If you must encounter him, I fear the only way would be to swim until he senses your tiredness, but that is a most foolish course. From the forest to the north, the trees seem to part and a gigantic bird lifts into view, its talons gleaming in the sunlight. Grab the platform. So yeah, running out of time. I didn't get to ask him where. No, I did ask where to find. I didn't ask about weaknesses. I'll wait and watch. Surely he has seen this situation before. You watch with horror as the bird swoops low. The priest screams, then a moment later he is gone and the bird is flapping gently away. You are alone. There is nothing on the platform apart from a few stray spots of blood from which the winged creature's talons punctured the man's side. I mean, I'd imagine... shout at the bird, scare away, that isn't going to do anything. Grab onto the platform, what's that going to do? It didn't come from me anyway. I'll cast a spell. Because obviously, I've zenned up, now I want to fall down. Far? Okay, yeah, I do have a crystal ball. Let's do it. You sit cross-legged on the hard, dusty ground and put your palms on the orb of crystal. Looking to the constellations above, you craft the spell, and everything changes. You're overcome by a vision of your future. You stand in a clearing halfway up a mountainside. In the middle of the clearing is a tombstone. You stand beside it with a vial of water in your hand. What is happening? I'll look at the vial. You look down at the vial to see that it shimmers with a strange internal glow. And now I'll pour it on the tombstone or the ground just in front of it where the grave would be. You pour the water into the earth and it seeps down into the soil. There is magic in the air. Suddenly something punches the earth below where you stand, and I will step back to make room for it. You step back just in time as a bony skeletal hand punches through the earth. Something is climbing out of the ground. The vision fades. The evening is drawing in. Soon it will be dark. Holy water, perhaps, which I do not have yet. Okay, now I would like to get up down. F. Your game, you're not letting me do what I want to do. Oh, that was an H. I mean, it's fairly obvious what the most safe passage is. Okay, so. Okay, I'll just use the same spell to get down then instead. You weave the starlight into the design around you, and the medallion begins to glow as you rise gently into the air. And then I'll return to the ground. Sit on the pole. No, that doesn't seem wise. You float over the edge of the platform and lower yourself gently back down to the ground. Looking up once more, the top of the pole seems dizzyingly far away. Look, if the man's been up here that long, why did the bird take so long to come get him? Okay, you've shown me that one again. Back down to the base. You're back at the base of the pole. To the north, mist rolls across the edge of the forest. It's time to move on. You leave the bowl behind and strike out across the steppes. I need to find the earth serpent. Hey, look, there's something up here. Yeah. I need to also find a place to rest. I'm going back up there at some point, but for now then, southwards it is. You keep moving, the ground dropping a little. Your weight returns and you settle gradually back down to the ground. The sun is sinking. The featureless landscape offers little to attract your interest, but in the far distance you can make out the edge of the great forest. With luck you will reach its shelter before nightfall. A chill wind sweeps across your path, making you shiver. I will find shelter. Because the hour is growing late. If there is a storm coming, it would be wise to find some kind of shelter before it breaks. As the rumbling grows in the air around you, you spy a suitable crevice in the rock. Oh, wait! Air serpent? In the storm? I've got plenty of stamina. I can afford to lose a bit. Oh. How late is it, though? It's like, am I going to press on through the night, through the storm? That seems really bad. Will I get another opportunity? I do need to... Look. If the air serpent is hunting me... Yeah, okay, we'll try. You change your mind. If there is bad weather, you simply have to weather it. Turning up your collar, you set off through the gathering winds. The forceful gusts blow you roughly one way and the other. Running? No, not a good idea. I need to keep slow and steady on the ground. If I'm light on my feet, I run the risk of being blown off from... You keep walking, head turned low to the wind. A few spots of rain land on your neck, ice cold. You get about halfway to the natural shelter of the next layer in the rock, then finally the skies open and a torrential downpour bursts from the clouds. In an instant you are soaked to the skin and shivering, and your pack grows heavy with collected rain. Of course, all your water-damageable possessions have been ruined. Well, I didn't have very many with them. Thankfully, however, the pages of your spellbook are protected. I don't think I had anything to... Look, I was out of food. Possibly something here. I do have holy water. When did I get that? I don't think I've lost anything particularly here either. I will look up into the storm in case I see the air serpent coming for me. You look up into the clouds to try and judge how long the storm will last, in time to see a bolt of lightning heading down to you, only to realise it's not lightning, it's a hooked claw. I will dodge to the left, because left is best. I was correct! Oh, my instincts are on fire at the moment, I think. There is no way to predict it. You respond entirely on instinct. Dodging left, the claw rakes down from the twisting serpentine clouds and strikes where you are standing. You gasp in relief, but it is not over yet. The shape in the skies is rearing back for another attack. Analand, hisses the wind. I am the air serpent, and I will taste your soul and your blood. Thunder boils in the clouds. How do I get it to turn into gas? I will look for its body. Knowing the serpent's weakness, you look around for its corporeal form, but can see nothing against the whirling dust. Foolish creature, bellows the snake. You look for my body, but you think I have left it here for you to find? The wind blows dust and rubble past you. Something like a large, dry leaf blows across the ground. Serpent skin! I'm going to run after it. How can you fight a thundercloud? There is no choice but to run. Oh, that wasn't run for the skin? We is deaded then, isn't it? Yeah. You turn and run through the gale as best you can, but you cannot outrun the wind itself. The storm overtakes you, lightning bolts raining down on either hand. The serpent is toying with you, making you jump, then finally, like a king skewering an oyster with a pin, one bolt strikes you in the centre of your skull. You have been struck by lightning. Your adventure is at an end. Well then. I do I think that the hiding place is where the snake has left its body? I don't know. Keep walking. Up, left. Look for its body. Grab the leaf. There we are. You make a grab for the leaf and catch it in both hands. Not a leaf. Snake skin. I want to rip it up. Yes, yes. You hear the air serpent gasp, a sound like all the wind of a hurricane pulling themselves into a bottle. Suddenly the clouds collapse almost instantaneously as it's going back into the skin. I will tear the skin apart with my bare hands. As fast as you can, you tear the frail skin in two. It is easy, like tearing dry paper, and then nothing more happens. All is silent. It seems you caught the air serpent just as it was returning to physical form, and now it is simply gone. Everywhere is suddenly very quiet. You have now defeated 3 of the 7 serpents. Time to move on. Your progress so far is excellent. You feel fit and well and are firmly on your way to ridding the Baklands of the serpents. Now, just to be clear, 1, 2, 3. So like 4, 5, 6, 7. I still feel there's been nothing here. So, Is that a path? Oh, wow. If that is. And I'm shining the light of... Wait, am I? So according to the comments on a recent video, the clouds, the past and present does actually shift slightly. It is entirely possible to complete this book without using the beacons at all. But one of those things involves standing still in one spot for 3/4 of an hour real time for the clouds to shift to the exact right positions for you to do something. I could go back up here and see the sorceress. I didn't see this path. But wait, this path coming down wasn't here when I saw her before. It does intrigue me. So I'm thinking the Earth Serpent isn't going to be too near to here. It'll be like somewhere else. Oh! Oh! This looks like a beacon. But why would I... It's too close to this one. Let's go this way. And what is bad about the beacons? I should really look into that. Oh, I'm going through the night again, aren't I? You fall into a steady pace as you walk, ascending and descending. The sun has all but gone. It'll be dark soon. This is the eastern slope of the Badubak Ridge. The steps stretch away from here. If I cast Zen and float up to her hut, I could rest there for the night, right? They're really liking me using this spell a lot at the moment. Obviously not a spell I should have cast during the storm. You weave the spell and the medallion begins to glow as you rise gently up into the air. You rise a short way up the rock chimney, but the whole ascent is a long way. I'll keep on going. The spell carries you high and without incident or weakening. You land gently on the mountain top. By the hut, where I can sleep. Your weight returns, and you settle gradually back down to the ground. I've been here before, and shall return to the hovel. You attempt to open the hut door once more, but it will not budge. It seems the old woman does not wish to see you again. Perhaps you are bad luck. Well, look at the chimney. Looking more closely at the chimney and the rock, you notice a faint purple aura surrounding some of the stones near the top, and a few faint purple glows further down. Perhaps there is some enchantment on this flue, or perhaps it is simply a colour the owner of the hut enjoys. Dropping a stone down the chimney seems bad. Let's do it. You grab a nearby stone and toss it over the side of the mountain. It plummets just as fast as you might expect, careening and bouncing from the chimney's sides until it explodes into particulate dust halfway down. Okay. So I don't get to rest in her hut. That is a shame. I feel that I should cast another spell. I don't know what that spell should be. Oh. Okay, yeah. So that's an obvious return journey. How? No, I think it's fairly obvious how I'm supposed to... Magic protection. Yes, good idea. Consulting the stars, you bind the magic and a veil of magical protection shimmers into place around you. Now I'll cast another spell now that I'm magically protected. Because something might have countered my... I think I'm going back down, but let's see what other options are available to me. Okay, I don't need a goblin. Make me big so I could climb down. Or break open her door. Sus. Sense danger. This is a fairly familiar situation. No, I'll stick with the obvious. You cast a spell lightening your body weight to a mere fraction of normal. In the distance, you hear wing beats on the wind. Well, I'm going back down again. You step to the edge of the cliff and then over. You begin to drift down the mountainside, bouncing lightly the rock surface on either side. Halfway down, your spell begins to wear off and you feel yourself speeding up. Oh, that's not good. You close your eyes and your heart moves up to your throat and... bollocks, this is going to hurt, isn't it? A few heartbeats from the ground, you feel your movement changed. You have entered some kind of magical I got my magical protection spell up. Did that wear off as well? Some kind of magical field that is beginning to bringing you slowly to a stop. Except that it seems your spell of magical protection is still in force. It takes a moment to counteract whatever is slowing down, but when it does, your fall continues to a very bitter end. Too clever by half. All right then. So I probably just shouldn't go up there at all. She's not going to let me in. You stride on. Hopefully, finding somewhere to rest. You set off across the hard ground. Night falls. You need to rest. Am I not allowed to do so here? Look, here's a building of a ruin. Oh, for God's sake, it's getting so late. You march onwards, climbing slightly. Something is visible in the distance to the south, perhaps man-made or perhaps a freak of nature carved from the rocks, but it resembles a low stone building. Okay, the well, the temple, behind the temple. Look, there could be water, okay? You skirt around the building and the bits of rubble that surround it. In the darkness, you have to feel your way forwards, trying not to trip over the ruins. No, I'm not going to just rest by the well. You leave the ancient building behind. You leave... What? Old temples have old gods and old curses. You continue on your way. No, I want to... Bloody hell. No. Come on. I want to rest inside the temple, not by the well. Something could come out of the well. Look at this. Oh, those are some very goblin-like, trollish faces, aren't they? Lots of orcs and goblins here by the look of it. You go closer until you can see more clearly what the structure is, or what it was. A ruined building standing on a stone plinth, its columns cracked and broken. The elaborate carvings on the pillars suggest it was once a temple of some kind, but it is 100 times more desolate now than the broken shrine where you found Theta in Khare. I'm going in. There may yet be something of significance here. You climb up onto the plinth on which the structure stands. It appears quiet enough, though whether it is structurally sound or not is another matter. One of the pillars by the temple seems to take a step sideways, or was that your imagination? The earth pillar, perhaps? I don't get to cast a spell? Circle the walls suddenly seems like a really good idea. Oh, stairs going down. Huh. You walk around the back of the structure. The east side is in no better repair. Wind blows through holes in the walls. In one corner you notice a strange, almost rectangular impression in the dust. Sand blows across the steps and into your eyes, making you blink. I'll look at the rectangular impression after wiping sand from my eyes. Kneeling on the old stone, you brush the dust away from the rectangular impression with careful fingertips. There's definitely something here set into the old stone. A trapdoor. Don't you open that trapdoor, 'cause there's something down there. I'm going to open the trapdoor. You know, I never actually watched that. I read the book of the show once. When I was very young, visiting a friend in London. But apparently it was really entertaining. I've seen the intro on YouTube. It's quite catchy. And of course, Willie Rushton as well, I believe, reading. Yeah! Wow, you don't hear his voice very often these days, do you? You grasp the handle of the ancient trapdoor and give it a good heave. The hinges squeal and cry, but the trapdoor opens, revealing a few steps downwards and a disgusting smell. I've got my nose plugs, and you can hear something down there moving around. This was very dusty. It didn't want to move very often. Whatever's been down there has been down there a long time. I'll look down. You peer down into the shadows below. 2 eyes are staring black, and you can hear ragged, rasping breathing. I'll call down. Who's there, you call? There's no reply but the rattle of chains. I'm sensing some kind of undead creature. Chained down there, but there might be an item for spells. Drawing your Analand sword ready, you step into the darkness below and die. Oh, that's a lot of chains. Very big chains. Your vision goes blank from the darkness. You can definitely hear someone or something breathing close at hand. The smell is almost unbearable. I'll put in my nose plugs. You slip the nose plugs into your nostrils and sigh with relief as soon as you do. Your eyes are adjusting. Slowly, details filter in. You stand in a tiny chamber built into the foundations of the temple, clearly some kind of prison. Chained to the far wall is a skinny, half-naked man with a wild, long beard. "Oh, I don't believe it," he gasps. "A human! Oh, my eyes, a human!" He races towards you, but is pulled up short by the chain around his ankle. "Who are you?" you demand. "My name is..." He screws up his eyes to think. "Shala! My name is Shala. I'm the priest of Froth here." "Oh, good." The man claws for you once more, his eyes wide, his mouth almost drooling with excitement. "I don't have any food." "Who chained you up?" you ask. "It was the Clatterman. Damned Clattermen," he gasps. "They ransacked the temple, took everything of value and chained me up here." And one of their craftsmen probably made stuff with all the temple goods. I'll search for room. With the man chained, you take a moment to search for dark space. "If you're looking for a key," he declares hopefully, "you won't find one here. I've looked already." The man is correct. You do not find a key, but you find something. A strange black face mask. I'm taking that. I'll need it for a spell. You put the mask into your pack. "That's mine," the man says weakly, perhaps beginning to understand you're not quite the answer to his years of prayers. "That's my only thing." A rat dashes across the floor of the chamber. The man snatches for it, snaps it in two, and begins to chew on the raw meat inside. Seeing you stare at him, he offers you half, but you shake your head. Cast a spell? I want to see if I suss out any danger. Now, Froth may be an ally of mine, but I should check. You weave the spell and a calm voice speaks into your thoughts. It tells you that there is danger down here, but it is a danger you cannot see and not the old man himself. Its cryptic message delivered, the voice fades. I will break the chain. Yeah, oh. Oh, I have an idea. You approach and bring your sword down on the ancient rusted chain, and it shatters in an instant. The man leaps forward with gratitude, wrapping his arms around you in a bear hug. "Thank you, stranger. It's a wonder to be free." He dashes away up the steps into the sunlight, and you hear him gambling around. Glancing up, you notice the old man's hand on the edge of the trapdoor. Perhaps he is about to lock you in. Can I huff? Can I huff to blow him away? Where is my gale horn? That's no huff. Okay. Law. He's not that stupid. Oh, zip! Zip, yeah, sure, I got zip. Nif? That's not Nif. Damn it, I was hoping to make a... No, he's not going to mind about a strong spell. But yeah, zip. Zip should be totally fine, right? Fix? No. It's going to be zip. That makes a lot of sense. There we go. Consulting the stars, you bind the magic trusting to luck as the ring of green metal on your finger begins to gleam like a serpent's eye. You close your eyes as your body is wrenched away above ground. The old man is sitting cross-legged outside his temple, smiling. "It's wonderful," he breathes. "I thought I would never again see the light of day. How can I repay you?" "Oh, you already have, but, I'd ask what he has. He'd answer some questions for me." You suggest, "I'm travelling across the Baklands and I need guidance." "I'll ask him about the towers." "There are strange towers in this landscape," you remark. "What are they?" "Very old," he nods, "built by the ancients themselves. What they are for I do not know, but I have heard it say that the towers hold the land together." So my manipulating them might be pulling the land apart in a really irresponsible way? "Tell me of Froth." You say, "Is she just a goddess?" "The very best," he replies. "Froth is the goddess of the earth itself. They say this land is cursed, but I do believe without Froth the very soil would come apart." Froth was for the air serpent, wasn't she? Or, oh, wait. The earth serpent's... No. Hang on. Not the blood candle, not was it? No. Oh, she's the enemy of the earth serpent. If you can find her, so I could become a worshipper of Froth and... I'd no longer be a worshipper of Khare. "Thank you," you tell him. The old man nods. "Then I grant you the freedom of the temple," he says. "What's left of it, anyway?" He goes inside and sits down to meditate. From across the distant steps you hear a sound like a keening, echoing cry. One of the pillars makes a strange, creaking sound. In response, no doubt. This reminds me of an American Indian story about coyote stealing a blanket and a rock that wanted its blanket back. And also the Australian story of the Nagan and the stars. You make your way back to the front of the temple. As though in greeting, a tile slides from the roof and smashes at your feet. A rat scurries across your foot and is gone. I'll go inside. Look, I'm trying to sleep, you know. You step inside the temple. It is dark inside, but at least you are sheltered from the chill winds of the steppes. Shala is here, his eyes closed, murmuring to himself. Suddenly, without warning, one of the pillars holding up the broken roof of the temple shears. The whole structure is sliding down on top of you. The old man yells somewhere close by, but you cannot get to him now. Now would be a perfect time to pray. You close your eyes and raise a prayer to Khare. The temple collapses around you, enormous stone blocks burying themselves into the ground left and right, but none fall on you. When the dust clears, you're still in one piece like Buster Keaton. Or, what was his name now? He did Eric something? Eric Sykes, was it? Not Eric Idle. He did loads of stuff in the 50s and 60s, and when he was getting quite older, he started doing stuff with Tommy Cooper later on. I can't remember his name. There you are, the old man declares with a sigh. It seems he has escaped miraculously unscathed. I am glad you got free anyway, he says, remarkably cheerful considering. I'll search for rubble. Look, stuff may have fallen down from the ceiling, unlikely. Smashed up floor, there might have been something under the floor. You search through the rubble but find nothing of use. The plinth is now knee-deep in broken stone and pebble-sized rocks. I'll take a pebble. You gather up a couple of pebbles from the plinth, of the right size and shape to be useful in spells, but of the temple's ancient treasures and artifacts there is nothing more to be had. Well, of course. This is not a safe place to rest. I'll now go and sleep by the well. You skirt around the collapsed building. In the darkness, you have to feel your way forwards, trying not to trip over the ruins. Let's hope Sharla is grateful and doesn't rob me in the night. You find a corner of old stone and settle down against it. At least you have eaten already today. You feel unusually weak. It has been a long day, and indeed part of a night. You lie back and try to forget your troubles. You toss and turn fitfully, your head on your backpack. You dream of a terrible smell and the grunting of some kind of wild dog nearby. Okay, look, I'm opening my eyes. That's a little too risky. Then you open your eyes just in time to see a spiked wooden club raised above your face. I'm going to go right this time. What? Okay. You roll right, crashing into a shadowy figure who groans and stumbles backwards. You jump to your feet. 3 tall creatures with powerful arms and ugly faces surround you. They are clattermen. Look, I wanted to sleep. Look closer. That... Whoa. That looks important. I'll look closer and hope I don't get a club to the side of the head. The figures are dressed in animal skins and carry makeshift clubs as weapons. One has an amulet round his neck, dark clay, but the jewel at its centre glows with a faintly gold-coloured sheen. They glare back at you, clearly at least somewhat intelligent, but say nothing. Law. Make them give me the gold amulet. Game, why no law? Oh, this would have been perfect. I have the mask to scare them away. I don't want to scare them away. I want to get the... I mean, maybe it would make them compliant, you know? Yap. Very, very, very tempting. I don't need a giant. Zap for lightning. Zob. Unknown. Is this the insect repellent pest controlling spell I may have seen part of, but I didn't get? That feels like a trap. Jig. Liking the idea. Liking it a lot, but that's not going to get me the amulet. Kin? No. Kid? Not a bad idea, actually. So Kid, Jig, I just got Gak, right? So is this a case of I've just got it, so I should use it? Yeah. Yeah. No, that's bad. That didn't get me the, Oh, okay. Can I go back now and choose a slightly different... There we go. I'm suspecting there is a better spell I could be using. closer... Greet them. I don't think they're going to understand. They've already proved themselves to be fairly dumb. So, magic. What could I do? So, if I make them dance, I can make them dance away. They don't give me the thing. Yap. Let's do it. Taking the wig from your pack, you wear it and... So, my original idea! Well, semi-original. You wear it and form your spell. The Clattermen's grunting and groaning turns into a language, but a highly primitive one. Bunions, complains one. Ulcers. Itchy foot, another replies. Headache. Lost my tooth, the third one adds. Yeah, and I've got a sore nose. Would have been a lot more sore if you'd whacked it with that club. Oh, what? And now he's going to fight me? You declare, hoping to pacify them in their own language. They stare at you, then one howls of rage and rushes forwards with his club. It seems you've insulted him. Yeah, well, he's got the amulet I want. You draw your sword and approach the first of the creatures. Oh, shit, am I going to have to fight all three at once? I'll go like here. I mean, he looks quite aggressive, right? So if I... Yeah. Okay, not that aggressive then. Giving a roar that curdles your blood, the Clatterman swings its club and comes for you. You try a deep lunge for his heart, but as he tries to push you back with his great hand. He staggers and groans. Enraged but wary of you, he stomps the earth with one enormous foot. Okay. A few really good hits, and I'd mess him up. So if I go all in here, let's presume I defeat him and do damage. I need to do one more, but I'll then be only able to defend. So I need to keep it kind of like a... Let's try that. Yeah, bad mistake. So I need to pace myself through this fight. You risk an attack and suffer for it. The Clatterman attempts to headbutt you. You're caught off balance. I will defend. You raise your sword in defense as the Clatterman swipes its club. You drop back. You are largely unhurt. His dim-witted eyes follow your movements, not wanting to take a risk. Well, guess what, mate? You're for it now. About there. Stealing your courage, you charge forwards, hoping to trap the Clatterman on your blade. Moving swiftly, you aim for his heart. He evades as well as he can. The Clatterman stumbles suddenly. He is weakening. His eyes follow your movements cautiously. Mate, you are so dead. You strike again. Moving quickly, you thrust a straight lunge towards his eye. Then your sword slips between the Clatterman's ribs and he falls gasping his last. 3 stamina lost, which was apparently skilled swordplay. Alright. Oh, shit. Yeah, the other two are going to fight as well. Hey, how come he... Same art, I know. Dragging his club behind him in the dust. Oh, mate, you are so... Oh, just 2 points. Still, that's... Giving a roar that curdles your blood, the Clatterman swings its club and comes for you. There is no time for patience. You draw your sword, you swing your sword for his neck as he tries to push you back with his great hand. Enraged by your attack, he beats his club against his palm, readying himself. He's psyching himself up for a big attack. So I need, like, 3 hits here, right? Okay. I am so glad I went for a defend there. I wouldn't have beat that. You try to put space between you. Just in time, the Clatterman hefts its club above its head and attempts to crush you in a single stroke. You're just in time to dodge back. You are largely unhurt. He lifts his club across his body defensively. Mate. Yeah, good. Hefting your sword, you move forwards, hoping to trap the Clatterman on your blade, chasing the giant with a worrying cut wearing him down. He flicks your swing aside easily with his club. He is left breathless but otherwise unharmed. His eyes follow your movements, not wanting to take a risk. I'll go about this then. Yes! You lunge forwards again, snatching up a handful of dust. You throw it into the monster's eyes. The Clatterman parries slowly. The Clatterman suddenly stumbles suddenly. He is weakening. He lifts his club across his body. Mate, this ought to do it. Oh, that was clearly a mistake on my part. You lunge forwards again. With a blow that could part a tree trunk, you slash. The Clatterman turns your blow easily away. The Clatterman's eyes are bloodshot and he is moving much slower now. Determined to revenge himself on your blow, he knocks his club into his fist. Oh, mate, maybe... yes. Expecting a storm, you put up your guard. A good decision. The Clatterman raises its club high and brings it down with all his power in a single blow. You escape by a whisker. You are largely unscathed, and now I go in for the kill. Hefting your sword, you rush in. You stab. Then your sword slips between the Clatterman's ribs and he falls, gasping his last. All right, do I fight the third one? The third Clatterman hangs back, concern written all over his stupid face. He begins to back away, clutching the amulet around his neck. He's got the amulet. No mercy. But if you let him escape, he may bring others back with him and take the amulet away. Right. So, if I go for like a 4. Oh shit, he defended. Clever bugger. Emitting a grunt that sounds far more animal than human, the Clatterman lifts its club and comes for you. You try a fast lunge for his throat. He raises a club defensively in time to stop your blow. He is left breathless but otherwise unharmed. He's coming at me. I do need to try 2. Okay, yeah, big mistake. You risk an attack, but it fails. The Clatterman raises its enormous club and brings it hammering down on you. Well, that was a big hit. You can't do another one like that for a while. Your own weak frost is knocked aside. The blow catches your arm and you gasp for breath, almost dropping your sword. His dim-witted eyes are watching you closely, not wanting to take a risk. Not wanting to take a risk, he's like... I'll go 0.8. Oh-ho! Taking a chance, you rush in, hoping to trap the Clatterman with your blade. Chasing the brute with a worrying cut, wearing him down. He ducks clumsily. He staggers and groans. His eyes follow your movements cautiously, but it doesn't say he's not wanting to take a risk, so I think I can afford to come in like a... Look, 2 good hits will be good enough here. I'll go 2.8. And then I go in for the kill. You strike again. Moving swiftly, you aim to skewer his heart. The Clatterman deflects as well as you can. There's a lot of stabbing in this fight. I don't like stabbing. It always looks poncy and pathetic, like, you know, rapiers and fencing. I will poke you with the very tip of my weapon, like just a 1/4 of an inch, and you will fall down dead, pretending you've been, like, skewered brutally through the middle, even though it's just a tiny little pinprick. No, just fucking hit him with the weapon, you know. Right. You strike again. Moving swiftly, you aim to skewer his heart. The Clatterman deflects as well as he can. The Clatterman stumbles suddenly. He is weakening, and he's also about to die. You lunge forwards again. With a blow that could cleave a tree trunk, you cut into your opponent. Then your sword slips between the Clatterman's ribs and he falls, grasping his last. Hey, he did okay. And I'm taking that amulet. You search for bodies quickly, but find nothing exciting. One has a couple of gold pieces. Yeah, hopefully not the same 2 I gave to their village a while back. While another has a pouch containing a weight of sand tied to the end of a stick. Perhaps a weapon of some kind. Yeah, look, I'm taking the sand. The third has an amulet. You pocket the gold immediately, but the rest seems worthless. I'm taking that. I'm taking everything, all right? You untie the sand pouch from the stick. Then you pry the jewel of gold from the amulet. There is nothing more to scavenge. You leave the foul creatures to rot and move a short distance away to find a patch of ground not soaked with blood. Then you roll over and attempt to go back to sleep. You find yourself shivering tonight. You wake somewhat more exhausted than expected. Yeah, no kidding. You ran out of provisions and lost some gold. Entered the steps and you defeated the air serpents. You have now defeated 3 of the serpents of Mampang. And I'm feeling that the earth serpent is probably somewhere this side of the mountains. You get to your feet and look around. It seems you have spent the night at the foot of an old well. The well is an ancient mud brick structure. If it once had a cover, it has long since rotted, but the metal winch handle is still in place, and an old bucket on a rope swings from it. I'll look in the bucket. You haul the bucket over the side of the well and look into it. It is quite empty, obviously. Clearly this well has not been used for a very long time. I will lower the no, I'll drop a stone down the well. See if I hear a splash. You find a stone and drop it into the well. It falls for a long time, then nothing. There is no splash. Strange hissing noises echo up the well shaft. I'll lower the bucket down the well. With some effort, you get the handle of the well to turn and lower the bucket down into the well shaft. I'll keep going. You lower the bucket all the way to the end of the rope. Bring it back up again in case something has climbed in, like a hissing serpent, an earth serpent perhaps. Oh hey, spell. Spell. There's no way the earth serpent should be this near to the sun. My sun jewel was stolen. You turn the stars into a shape around you and a quiet voice begins to speak to you. It warns you the well contains both a hidden danger and a hidden secret. I'll look into the well. You peer down into the well shaft, but in the darkness below you can make out nothing. Whatever your spell told you is down there, it is a mystery. Look, if I climb down that ladder, that's dangerous. If I cast a spell... Oh, blood candle, maybe. I mean, obviously. Foff? No. Interesting choice, though. Could pop a rock down there and... I'm sensing that's not very accurate. This is the one I want, obviously. I want my sun gem back. It was really nice. I miss my sun gem. You cast the spell, lightening your body weight to a mere fraction of normal, and I'll float down into the well. Oh, I've got a rope ladder! That wasn't available to use before, was it? I'll float down. With your weight reduced to almost nothing, you clamber into the well and guide yourself down with your fingertips. This could be very bad. Halfway down the well, something shimmers in the stone wall of the shaft. It is a seam of gemstones. You hold your position close to the crystal in the rock, fingers and toes outstretched. I'll look at it and hope I don't lose my grip. The seam of the crystal is quite beautiful. The soft rock walls are studded with fists and lumps of green and blue gem glass. There must be a fortune down here, perhaps even a layered strata of pure wealth. If only the Baklands could be mined by the King of Analand. This feels like a default option. I'll use the chakram instead. You pull out the chakram and dig into the rock with it, blunting it to uselessness in the process. Glad I didn't use my sword. You dig a handful of gems out of the well wall. You cannot catch them and they fall, but thankfully land in the bucket a short distance below you. That's great! Digging for more sounds like a really bad mistake. I'll climb back up. Not wanting to risk the spell wearing off, you clamber quickly back up the rope. That's not the only reason why it felt like a bad idea, because it might have disturbed whatever was hissing down there. You pull yourself over the edge of the well just in time. You land on the dust, heavily feeling your weight return. I'll pull up the bucket. You turn the old creaking handle, raising the bucket up the shaft. I'll look into the bucket. You look into the bucket. The bottom of the bucket is filled with uncut gemstones and glittering rock. This haul must be worth scores of gold pieces. Well, I'll take those. I may even find a magical use of them. You scoop up the gems from the pocket and pour them gleefully into your money pouch. Do you mean the bucket? I think I mean bucket. An excellent find. I will examine the gems. The gems are an assortment of different types of stone and will require an expert to sort, value, and cut them. If I find such an expert, they would really like what I've got. But the sheer size of one of them is jaw-dropping. Several are the size of eggs, and one is the size of a small cat. Pleased with your work, you stride away from the well. I'm sure I will find a use for these in the future. But now I will walk away from the temple and in to... Oh! You leave the ancient building behind. Then, quite suddenly, you find yourself violently coughing. Oh, disease! The stinky room the man was in. A cough? Can I finally cast Dock? You weren't coughing a moment ago. Of course, there's a lot of dust in the air from the fallen temple. But then you cough again, and lifting your hand to your mouth, you notice 2 vivid yellow pimples on the back of your hand. The yellow plague, which I've never heard of before. It must be rather serious. You stare at your hand. It is the yellow plague. Clearly the old man was infected and gave it to you when he was hugging you in the cellar. Can I now cast Dock, please? Please, dear goodness. Or am I completely out of Blimberry potions? There is nothing else for it. You struggle on across the plain, feeling yourself growing weak already. You continue on your way. Please, can I now cast Dock? You walk on, the ground dropping a little. The day is likely to be clear and will be hot once more. You notice something white, stark against the grey of the dust. I'll look at it. I'll clear the dust. You wipe away the dust from the object. It is a short, dirty white and gently curved. Okay, now I'll look at it. It looks like some kind of rib. It is just a sliver of cool white, visible through the thin, dusty scrub. Something is buried here. I'll dig it up. I'm in a bad enough situation. Am I digging up the bones of the earth serpent? You dig around the object and find 2 similar objects to the left and right. They lie parallel in the dirt. You squat down on your heels and dig in the dirt a little more. Eventually you uncover 3 short white rods, and at that moment it becomes obvious that they are finger bones of a hand clenched into a fist. The fist points upwards as though its owner had been buried standing upright in the soil. I'll keep digging. I'm in a bad enough situation already. Might as well make it worse. You keep digging. The fist gives way to a wrist and then an arm. It is as though the creature was trying to climb out when the soil of the land closed over his head. And when I shine a beacon over this point... As you go lower, the bones start to accumulate a leathery coating. At first, you think it is the remains of a coat, but then, once you locate an anchor and sail tattoo, it becomes clear it is skin, somehow preserved in the soil. I should probably stop soon, but keep going. Oh. You're now into serious digging, which is hard work. You pause to take a break every few minutes and stop once more when you have the figure unearthed down to the waist. Its skull is a dried leather ball with 2 grey-brown eyes shrunken in the sockets. It wears a metal ring through its nose, and remains of a beard are just visible. Its jacket is better preserved, its colour faded, but its buttons still intact. It wears a small, 3-cornered hat. Sticking just above the waist are the remains of some kind of harness. Is it possible this figure had a false leg? I'll search for figure. You rifle through the figure's jacket, but find nothing of interest in its pockets. Not even 1 gold piece. Around his neck, however, you find a small metal whistle which you take. I'll rebury the body. I don't want to take the hat as well. You quickly scoop the dirt from around the pit back in, covering the ghoulish figure up once more. There is now less trace of the figure than when you first found it. You must continue your journey, but you are weaker than you realize. Perhaps you should simply rest here for a few hours and regain some strength. Yellow plague, it's not to do with that, no. But I will pray. Khare is sitting back contentedly asleep and unwilling to aid you now. Doesn't approve of ill will or evil doing. Fine, well, I'll move on. You shake the idea away. You cannot afford to waste time. You have no choice but to stop, whatever the cost. There's a thing here. Right, yellow plague. There's gonna be some kind of cure somewhere, I feel. I also feel it's like far from here. Maybe I need to... Perhaps I should just drink the mystery potion. Ooh. I'm not sure it's a good idea. I have no potions of Blimbry juice. Would they be under rations? I've no rations here at all. Wow, it's actually been taken away. There's just... Okay. Wow, I need to decide where to go next. This looks intriguing. It's not a tower. Oh, you know what? Sod it. I'll just go a little bit longer. If I run into the Earth Serpent, though, I'm stopping. You keep walking, ascending and descending. As the morning moves on, the wind begins to rise. The sudden sound of voices to your right startles you. Well, I'll look around. You spin around to see 7 hooded shapes squatting on the ground, playing some kind of sort of weird game, chanting in a curious tongue. I'll listen. You listen closely to the voices, then stiffen as you realize one is calling you by name. "We have waited for you," it breathes. "You have made good time to us. We are the 7 spirits. Come, join us." What kind of spell would I cast? You close your eyes, you raise your eyes to the heavens, but there is nothing there. Strange. You have heard rumours of spots where no stars at all are in alignment, but you have never found one before. The figures beckon towards you, beckon you towards them into the very centre of this magical darkness. I will approach. I think these are the spirits of the 7 serpents. Warily you approach. Who are these creatures? How do they know your name? Will they offer advice, or are they dangerous? But are they dangerous as their skull mask faces suggest? The spirits rise into the air as you approach, gliding silently through the air, passing through one another as they mingle and encircle you, linking hands. "Caution is understandable," whispers a single voice, or 7 in tight unison. "But fear us not." Who are you? "These bodies are not our mortal bodies, merely shells," the voice declares. "We cannot touch you, we cannot harm you. So what are your natural bodies?" As if I didn't know. "Long dead," whispers the voice. "We died learning a chant to protect you from harm. You must hear it." "Show me your true forms," you demand suspiciously. "Very well," replies one of the spirits, "if that is your wish." A transformation begins to occur. Under their cowls, their faces are moving as if the bones are rearranging, but you cannot see exactly what is occurring. "Show me your faces," you demand. One of the spirits pulls down its cowl, and as the sight revealed makes you freeze in terror. It is now the head of a hissing serpent. Draw my sword. You draw your sword as the next spirit lowers its hood. It is another serpent, larger but with the same markings on its face and above its evil eyes. "Are you the 7 serpents?" you demand. The serpent shakes its head. "We are but one serpent." Oh. Another lowers its hood, and then you understand. This new serpent is the same creature again, only older and weaker. The time serpent. The 7 serpents are one serpent at different points in its life. "I see you understand," the spirits declare. "We are the serpent of time, and we shall devour you." The clouds begin to churn in the sky. Then a loud crack breaks the stillness as a bolt of lightning skewers the place where the 7 spirits stand. The light clears and they have vanished. I'll look to the sky. You look up. The sky overhead seems to be breaking. The dome of the sky is now a lidded eye, cracking open. Something like a clawed hand has hold of you and is pulling you towards the top of the low mound. The ground itself is transforming into a face, and you are walking into its wide-open smile. I shall struggle. Is this an auto-kill? You struggle and strain, but there is nothing to fight but the wind. Your heels score tracks in the dust. The force on you is like 100 visible hands. Then you are above the wind, open jaws in the face of the ground. You are to be devoured. I will strike. You raise the sword to swing, but stumble back under the weight of it. Your arms seem unable to lift the blade. But no, looking down, you see your legs are suddenly thin, and your hands are thin and bony. Reaching up to your face, you find your hair is coming away in clumps and wrinkles are spreading over your skin. The serpent laughs. The jaws of time are unescapable, it roars. I will cast a spell. Oh, and I can't. Oh! You look up to the heavens, intending to cast a spell, but you cannot see the stars anymore. Your eyes have grown blurry and unfocused, and the night swims as if you are underwater. You tumble to the ground and hear the snap as the bones in your hip and pelvis gives out. The serpent shifts closer. I'll beg for mercy. You open your mouth to cry out, and your teeth scatter to the ground. A moment later you cannot see. Another moment, and you are nothing but a skeleton. You stare out through cold, bone-dead eyes. Cold, dry bones. This is not an auto-kill. Ah! You are nothing but cold bones, but then the wind drops once more, the clouds roll back, the steppes are clearing. You feel yourself becoming young once more, bones strengthening and skin tightening. Whatever was pulling you towards death has released its grip. You turn to see a gigantic shape lift into the ground and swoop away into northeast. It leaves a strange trail as it flies, and the wind from its movement knocks you to the ground. Oh, it's changed the map. You stagger backwards, glad to be alive and keen to be out of this place. Snaky trail, snaky trail, snaky trail goes where the time serpent is. So, in case I didn't know... Well, look, I'm just going to, blatantly walk to this tower now. You set off across the steps with an easy stride, but the firm, dusty ground becomes spongy, and after a while, you're no longer walking on firm ground, but rather striding between waist-high weeds in a deep and stench-filled marsh. The sun continues to climb the deep sky. You approach the edge of the mountains and the base of an old stone tower carved from the cliff face itself. From the battlements of the tower protrudes a strange brass cylinder. Nestled between the stones is a large, closed wooden door. I will knock on the door. There might actually be someone in this one. You knock on the door. There is no reply. I'll enter the tower. You try to enter the tower. It is locked, but the wood is ancient and rotten and could most likely be easily broken, or I could just cast Dop. Or Big. D-O-P. Haven't used it in ages. You craft the enchantment, and slowly the ancient rusted lock on the tower door begins to turn and finally falls open. You peer inside. Darkness and a musty smell, like ancient sweat. Man, I've been going for a long time. I should end soon. You step into the tower. You step into the gloomy darkness at the base of the ancient tower. The ground underfoot is hard stone, wet with collected rain. Something growls at you from the back of the tower. Cast a spell. You want to scare me? I'm going to scare you, pal. I'm really unhealthy. Really? No. Oh well. Yap it is. You want to growl like an animal? I'll growl like an animal back. Removing the green wig, you pull it onto your head and complete the spell. A moment later, the wolf's hound's growls have turned into words. Free! It barks over and over. Must be free! Must be free! The beast is readying itself to pounce. I'll let it out. You step to one side as the wolfhound charges forwards, but it does not come for you. Instead, it leaps through the doorway and dashes away across the steps. It seems you have set him free. I'll search for shadows. You search for gloomy arches under the spiral staircase. In a forgotten corner, you unearth 3 gold pieces, which I will take and hope I'm not diseased. You take the coins and drop them into your purse. Time to leave this place. Well, I will go up the spiral staircase to the top. You clamber up the spiral stairs to the hatch and go through onto the roof of the tower. The cool wind of the steps hits you full in the face, snatching your breath away. This tower stands in the slope of one of the horns themselves, looking out over the whole of the steps. In the top of this tower is another movable brass cylinder, like the last one you saw, set with a blue crystal. There are powerful, unusual stars here. Unusual, you say? Like the Z spell? No doubt. Not for me, for the tower itself. Far, yes. You sit cross-legged on the rocks and put your palms on the orb of crystal. Reaching up to the constellations overhead, you create a spell and everything changes. The world seems to disappear, replaced by a vision. A ring of tall, shadowed stones in a desolate waste. You stand at their centre, holding above your head a long yellow feather taken from some colossal bird. You are casting a spell of curious power. I'll see what happens. I don't remember a spell that needs a bird's feather. The spell begins to take hold and the feather erupts into flame, as though you held a fiery sword. The fire reaches down your arm and into your bones, and you feel yourself swelling with great strength. The vision fades, as if a phoenix. The afternoon is starting to draw on. What other spells? That are unusual? Doc! Where's my potion? Oh, that's so unfair. That's so unfair. I used it as my last provision a while ago. Oh, what else? What else can I do here? How? No, it's fairly obvious. I don't think I'm going to find many Blimbries out here in the Baklands. Doc, how, zip. Why would I cast zip here? Oh well, I think I've learned what I can. You know what? I'm going to leave this one here because I've actually been going for over an hour. I hope you all enjoy this episode, even though I'm really badly hurt and I got the yellow plague and I don't have Blimbry to fix it, which would have been really, really, really helpful. Really helpful. I mean, Doc does work wonders for things like diseases. That was probably my only chance to fix it as well. I took potions to bring back heal. I mean, sure, that's got to be mystery potion, maybe. You know what? It's desperate enough. Sod it. Let's hope it's not poison. You drink the potion and suddenly feel more skillful, but a moment later your hair is falling out in clumps. Oh, that's not good. Yeah, you know what? I'm going back on that. That's just dumb. So, cast far. Like I did. And then check I've still got the mystery potion, which is... Maybe there's someone I can give it to later on. But for now, I'm in a bit of a pickle. Yeah, I'm going to leave this episode here. Like I said, I should have just done what I was saying. I hope you've all enjoyed this episode, even though, as I said, I've suffered greatly. But another serpent down. Oh! And I'll look forward to seeing you all in the next episode, which will probably be like, tomorrow, to be honest. So, that was a wonky one, wasn't it? See you all next time, guys. Bye for now.